we are learning another set of 5 stitch variations, the Lattice Stitch family. As I mentioned in the last tutorial, I have swiped some terminology here and repurposed it for clarity on this particular sampler. If you look up Lattice Stitch, you'll likely find the same stitch we did last time, which I'm calling Trellis Stitch on this sampler. I wanted to make a clear title difference between these two styles though, so here I'm defining Lattice Stitch as 2 layers of intersecting threads, crossing perpendicularly to form obtuse and acute angles with diamonds in between. This means that after laying down that initial set of parallel evenly spaced stitches, you can start the crossing set of threads with any diagonal angle that you please, matching that choice with each following stitch to make a neat diamond pattern. And that is Lattice Stitch. Let's move on to those variations then, starting with woven lattice. An explanation hardly seems necessary here. Get your ground threads down, choose your diagonal, then weave your thread over and under to the other side, matching the angle and offsetting the weave with each following stitch. And here is our woven lattice. Of course, we need those couching stitches, so let's do some lattice couching next. Here, you can really play around with the angle and length of your couching stitches, but for a nice, neat final look, keep them all in perfectly straight rows. And that's our lattice couching. Now for some layered lattice couching, we'll start with our basic lattice stitch, then add that third layer of thread, cutting right through the center of those diamonds. Whether you go through the short length of the diamonds like this, or the long length really changes up the final look of this stitch, so play around with those options. And finally, we add those couching stitches on top, facing in the remaining available direction. Here is our layered lattice couching. Last up, we're going to do some double woven lattice. Once you start adding a third and especially a fourth layer of woven threads in different directions, you really embrace the orderly chaos of those cross points. The first layer is easy to weave. We've done that before. Now as you add the second layer of threads in a new direction, you already have a couple different choices as to how you will weave them. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Every time I stitch double woven lattice, I change up the weave pattern a little and get a slightly different final look. The key is just to remain consistent once you decide on a weave pattern, whether that means offsetting each new stitch from the last one or keeping them all the same. Now we can add our fourth layer of thread, and there's even more options for how to weave it, not to mention what distance to put between each stitch. And this is double woven lattice. Once again, I'll add a backstitch outline in black around these sections. And we're done!